All right, so hello everybody and welcome to Sustainable House Day 2021. We're here in the Sustainable Development in Whitegum Valley, released by Development WA some years back. And we're here with Fiona in her beautiful two-storey home. So we're going to have a little bit of a chat and you guys can look at some photographs while we're having a chat, which will run you through the property and show you some of the features and some of the beautiful areas and landscaping, etc. outside. So Fiona, we'll start off by at the very start. When were you born? No, I'm just kidding.
Don't ask me that.
Can't ask a girl that.
No.
So you've built a passive house. We all know why. We know why, but let's try and tell the viewers why. When you started out, what really started your interest in passive house and what got you sparked?
I knew I wanted to build a house that was energy efficient and that did what it could to look after the planet. I just felt like if I was going to build a house, I had that responsibility to do it in a way that was going to be energy efficient, given the building is going to sit here for well after I'm gone, I'm sure. So that was important to me. So then I had to do a bit of research and finding out how I was going to go about doing that. And I attended a lecture on passive house builds. I learnt about the 5 principles of passive house, and I decided that just made sense to me.
You discovered passive house and then you decided, right, I'm going to buy a block and build a house. So talk us through the design process and, the block, and because this is an exciting journey for you at that point. Yeah, definitely. It took me a little while to find the block. And when I found the block that I have, I realised its potential for views in 2 directions, because I looked down 2 little roads. So that was really awesome, with some trees at the end of both of those roads. Having the indoor-outdoor connection was important to me. I met with Luke, who was an architect who was an expert with building and designing passive houses. So I learnt a lot from talking to him at the first meeting. So that's Luke Kellett from Kellett Design Group? Yes. I guess I had the concept for the design in my head already. And then Luke helped to fine-tune all of that and make it into something that could actually happen. And you mentioned you had your inspiration was you went to see a house somewhere before which had this same void type, open area, which is a really beautiful feel with the windows. You can see out over the golf course, and it's an incredible view for a metro build. Like, it's really a fantastic view. You're looking out over Fremantle golf course, which is incredible. So your inspiration came from a house that you went to see. So was it something local or? It was, I think, North Perth somewhere. Somewhere like that, and it was like, maybe it was 2017 I saw that house, but I really liked the impact of when you're upstairs, you kind of walk down a corridor, but you look across this void through a big window to an awesome view. Was that a sustainable house as well or not? It was a sustainable house, yeah, in different ways. Like, everyone opens their houses and you realise that there's lots and lots of different approaches to building a house that is sustainable in some way. So very different. Certainly not a passive house, but the design inspired me. Regarding sustainability here, there's a lot that we can talk about, but I think we'll just go through. You went through the design process, which at the time was pretty arduous for you. Like, we were standing on the outside looking in, and we got the feeling that it was pretty tough for you because every single decision was, it impacted another area, or it impacted a view, or it impacted your perception of the space, which at the time, it didn't seem like that big a deal, but now that the house is here, like, every single person in this team, the design team and the build team, all agree that those decisions were all well-founded, every one of them. So talk us through that whole design process. And I spent a lot of time on my bare block, trying to imagine, like, if I put a window here, what's it going to see? And I spent a lot of time doing that. The windows were important to me. Originally I wanted more windows, but was educated by Luke that was not going to be an energy efficient building. I cut my windows back a little bit, but now that the house is built, there's just so many windows. I didn't need as many windows as I thought. So when we saw the first draft of the drawings coming through, we were a little bit concerned. Not overly concerned, because it had already been pulled back a little bit. But yeah, by the time we got to build permit set, we were very, very happy. And I'm pretty sure, we'll talk about it in a few minutes, but I'm pretty sure you'll be happy with the performance now. So build process, we'll just touch on it quickly. Nothing that disappointed me. I think the surprises were good ones. It all turned out better than I ever imagined that it could. I learnt all the way along. I hadn't built a house before, so everything was new to me. There was really good communication all the way along. The build process was smooth and it was quick. Okay, all right. So you're in for 8 months and you're you will have done some of a summer and most of a winter at this point. Feedback, how are we looking? How is it?
Well, winter's just gorgeous. You know, on a day like today where there's heaps of sun coming in those windows, I can get home at 5:30 and it's 21 degrees in here. I think I'm learning that on a cold winter's day when there is no sun out to do that solar heat gain, I do need to put my heaters on, but I put them on for an hour and a half or so in the middle of the day.
Yep.
Then I get home and it's 20 degrees in here and, you know, quite pleasant. So winter's been great. Summer was good. On a hot heat wave kind of week, I might put the air conditioning on for 3 hours or so in the middle of the day. I think I can see lots of areas where I'm going to get some improvement there when I get my deciduous trees out in my garden.
Yeah.
And there's one awning that I probably need to put up on my northern windows there, just a little one. I can see lots of areas where I can tweak that and improve it. And also part of it is just me learning how to operate the house. On a mild summer's day, you don't need to do it at all because I've got the cross ventilation that you use at the end of the day.
Your overall feel in the house is like noise, cleanliness, dust, fresh air. Can you give us a bit of feedback on any of that?
Even now I've got the doors and windows open. I'm closed all the time, obviously it's winter and I don't feel like it's stuffy in here in the least. So yeah, you always feel like you've got clean fresh air in here. A lot of the blocks around me have been bare. They're all being built on now. So dust, of course, in the summer when I had the windows open. It was dusty, but I'm sure that's going to improve. And now, actually, with all the windows and doors closed through winter, I'm not noticing much dust at all. What was your other question?
Noise.
Oh, noise is awesome. We're kind of in this mid-density kind of living here. They're small blocks. Mine's only 266 metres or something. But you close these double glazed windows, and even if there's a party going on next door, it'll be just this background little muffle. Still wanted that connection to the outside, but yeah, you can definitely hear the rain on the roof and the birds outside. You just don't hear, a party becomes a muffle.
You've been in here, you're happy with the performance, etc. Let's talk about your costs then, if we can. You're a full electric home, right? You've no gas here, electric heating, cooking, everything's electric. How are you going bills wise? And we need to also factor in that you have you a 3.6 kilowatt system on the roof? So how is your performance energy efficiency wise?
Yeah, my energy bills have been really, really good. Like much lower than wherever I've previously lived. Maybe a third of the cost.
Let's talk about some of the other sustainable features on the home, okay? Because living in this sustainable development in Wycombe Valley, there's a lot of design guidelines that we have to adhere to too. So if we touch on those, we talk about there's a communal bore here, rainwater harvesting, you've got a whole house filter, you must have PV, which you have, and then you have a lot of native plants around the outside. You've trees as well that you must put on the block, which you're in the process of doing. I know you haven't done it yet. I guess we can touch on each one individually. So your PV system is a 3.5 kilowatt system, which, as you've touched on already, basically covers your electricity bills here. So you're net positive. Rainwater harvesting, do you want to touch on that a little bit?
I'm all set to go with rainwater harvesting. The tanks are not in yet. They will be.
Tank sizes?
I think I can get between 5,000 and 7,000 litres in 2 different areas on my block.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what we've piped in for earlier on, which is really good. So that'll really help with, you know, all of your gardening and everything around here, because you've done a fantastic job on the external. I know it's not complete yet, but you're very, very close.
Work in progress.
We also have recycled brick on your garage, which is, you know, you really, really, really pushed for that.
I really like recycled brick. I wasn't allowed to use it within the thermal envelope, which that's absolutely fine. So I've used it all around the garage walls. And I've got a feature recycled brick breeze wall in the garden as a backdrop to my barbecue area. And I've used it in the landscaping. So I have that. I got my recycled brick.
it's a really good addition to the project. It's fantastic. It looks great, and it's very in keeping with the Wycombe Valley area. So Fiona, there's some other sustainable features in this home, which you can't see, and a lot of people don't realise, but I'd like to, you know, maybe touch on them a little bit with you. So if you want to pick a couple and chuck them at me, and we can have a chat about them. The
insulation and the wall cladding systems that we used on different sections of the house were quite important. I needed more protection from the heat at the front of the building to the west and to the kind of northwest. On that section of the building, I think we've got R4.7 or something with the
that's an R3 in all the external walls, And you've got an R2.5 acoustics on your internal walls and your ceilings, and then on the upper floor ceiling and roof areas, we've got an R6 insulation. And we use gold bats insulation because it's 100% recyclable and mold and mildew resistant. So that's another sustainable feature which people can't see. It's inside the building, and you know, it's part of the fabric and it's part of the envelope, the thermal envelope and the performance, but not a lot of people see it. We also do pre-manufactured timber frame on this home, which is a big bonus, because I remember having a conversation with you about it previously, like a 90% reduction in waste. Again, when we talk about life cycle analysis and carbon footprint, it's a no-brainer. Like, speed is a byproduct of having pre-manufactured construction, but you also get the benefits of lowered carbon footprint. And you decided to go for...
I've always loved finished concrete floors, and it's got the added bonus that in the winter it kind of pulls the heat of the sun in.
You got your thermal mass,
yeah.
So we'll touch on your windows a little bit too, because we spoke earlier about your windows and your placement. And for me, this is one of the biggest things. Like, this is a 9.2 star home. The energy efficiency rating system of Australia is BERS or NAITHR system. That's yielded a 9.2 star, which is an incredible result, right? Considering it's a timber frame home, a lot of that is due to your placement of windows and your shading of windows, etc. But it's also due to the fact that you have high performance double glazed windows. So Comerling C70 Gold, and you know the U values of your windows? Do you remember?
Oh, I can't remember. At the time when I made the decision, I definitely knew.
Yeah.
But I can't remember now.
You did. I remember us having a conversation about it. So the larger ones are about a 1.9-ish, and then we get down to a 1.4, 1.6 for the smaller windows, which is, you know, that's a pretty good performance considering what's your standard builds in WA. You know, your U values are way up, 2.7. Fiona, one of the other principles is air tightness. Your understanding and your experience. Have a chat with us about that. Tell us what your expectations were, or did you have any?
I learnt about it at the lecture I went to about passive houses originally. I've lived in lots of houses in the past where you feel the air coming up through the floorboards, or the draft through the door. You know, it's ridiculous. In the winter, you're getting freezing cold. One of the things that I liked about a passive house approach as well is that you can test it.
Yeah.
So with the blower door test that we did, you did, this house got a good result. It's a fairly airtight house.
Yeah, a 1.36, not to be sneezed at. Yeah. It's not certified passive house result, but you know, anywhere below 3 air exchanges, anyone in the passive house industry knows that we're getting really high efficiencies for heat recovery ventilation, which is our next and final principle. So heat recovery ventilation, fresh air intake.
It does its own thing. I don't really worry about it.
That's what it's supposed to do. Yeah. So it's working. So you've got the fresh air, your windows are closed up in the winter and there's no stuffiness?
Nope.
Okay.
No stuffiness at all.
And not too loud?
Nope.
Okay, we can hear the fridge now, we can't hear your...
Yeah, that's right. My fridge is louder than my HRV.
Yeah, which is fantastic.
They're pretty close together.
Yeah. So overall, if you had some advice for people out with going to visit Sustainable House Day or having a look at sustainable houses, what's your advice to them?
Do it. Go and have a look and be open to a reasonably new way of building in WA. Fantastic.
And if you had a favourite part in the process or a favourite part of your home, what would it be?
I've got lots of them. I just that connection to the outdoors that I've got, getting all the windows in the right position, building with a great team was made the process fun, and I think building with a fairly small team, you get to know all the different team members. It made the whole build process, it's a big deal when you build a house. Yeah. It made it fun and rewarding, I think. It's good. Fantastic. So thanks very much, Fiona, for your time, and thank you everyone for tuning into Sustainable House Day 2021. Hope you liked it, and enjoy the rest of the tour.